Today, two local high schools look to advance in Lakeshore Public Media's annual academic tournament that we call Making the Grade. Who will advance to our quarterfinal round? Will it be Lowell or Westville? We'll find out in just a few seconds because we're moments away from this edition of Making the Grade.
From safer communities to admirable performances, we power Northern Indiana so you can do what moves you.
This is season number 8 of Lakeshore Public Media's annual academic tournament that we call Making the Grade. I'm your host, Andy Schultz, and today 8 of the best and brightest students in all of Northwest Indiana come together to push their team into the next round of that tournament. What's at stake? Well, of course, the coveted Making the Grade Championship trophy, as well as scholarship money generously provided by NIPSCO. Who will advance to the quarterfinals here today? Will it be our visitors from Lowell or those from Westville? We'll find out here in the next few moments, and we'll have a chance to meet our contestants a little bit later in the show. But we're going to get this game started right now and some points on the board with our first round that we call Question and Answer. This is pretty simple. I read the questions, you give the answers. Buzz in if you think you have the right one. It's 5 points for a correct response. There's no penalty for an incorrect response. We'll just give the other team a chance at those 5 points. All right, here we go. Hands on buzzers, and let's get this game started with a 5-point clue. Name the Canadian province north of Montana between Saskatchewan and British Columbia, whose major cities include Calgary and Edmonton.
Alberta.
Mason from Westville.
Alberta.
Alberta is correct. First 5 points going to Westville. Here's another 5-point clue. Everybody's back in. Give the 2-word nickname for the object, not actually made of precious metal, that was laid in Utah. Christopher from Westville.
Fool's gold?
That's incorrect. I'll finish it for Lowell. That was laid in Utah in 1869 to complete a transcontinental railroad across the United States. Looking for the object was placed in that location. Rocco, you were in time. Go ahead.
A rail spike?
Close, incorrect. Looking for the golden spike. Not actually made of gold, golden spike. That's all right. No points awarded, and obviously none lost either. Here comes another clue. On the form you fill out to start this process, you tell how long you've been a lawful permanent resident of the United States. Name this process of officially becoming a U.S. citizen. Lauren from Lowell.
Naturalization.
That is correct. Naturalization, 5 points for Lowell, and you are on the board for the first time, and we're tied. Like his Greek counterpart Hermes, he was portrayed wearing winged sandals. Christopher from Westville.
Mercury.
Mercury is correct. The god of commerce from the Roman culture, shares his name with the smallest planet in the solar system. Nice job. 5 more points here. This biome's cold weather makes reptiles and trees there very scarce. Lauren from Lowell.
Tundra.
Tundra is correct. The biome where many animals hibernate and always covered by permafrost. Nice job. 5 more for Lowell, and we're tied again. The Rhine River begins in this mountain range. Name this set of mountains that goes through Italy, France. Christopher from Westville.
The Alps.
Alps is correct. Germany, Switzerland, and Austria. 5 more for Westville. Well done. You should use one of these even if the noun it goes with is plural or is singular but ends in S. Identify this punctuation mark used to indicate both a contraction and possessive. Lauren from Lowell.
Apostrophe.
That is correct. Apostrophe. 5 more for Lowell, and she's quick off the draw and excited to do it. All right, 5 more points for everybody here. What adjective starting with M describes the time period of the Middle Ages? Christopher from Lowell.
Medieval.
Medieval is correct. Back and forth we go. Nice game so far. Name the disease whose vaccine is often given together with vaccines against rubella and mumps. And Lauren from Lowell.
Smallpox.
It's not smallpox. I'll finish it for Westville. Given with rubella and mumps vaccines and is most often recognized by the red spotted rash all over your body. Christopher.
Chickenpox.
Incorrect. Looking for measles. Measles on that one. All right. This type of vehicle is credited with saving Chrysler from bankruptcy in the 1980s. Give the popular term for this type of car, whose examples include the Toyota Sienna and the Honda Odyssey. Rocco from Lowell.
The minivan.
Minivan is correct. 5 more points for the Red Devils. You can buy it to cover the loss of your life, but your family will use the payout. Lauren from Lowell.
Life insurance?
Yes, we can accept it, yes, because it was so early. Insurance more generally, but too specific there. No problem there. And that is the end of our first round, where Lowell leads 30-15 in a fast-paced first round of play. All right, we'll take a pause in the game, and we'll take a chance to look at our class roster and meet the class at this time. Starting on the Lowell side, talking to Lauren with some great responses early on. You have a hobby, specifically linguistics. Tell me about that. How did you even become interested in that?
Well, growing up, I was surrounded by a lot of diversity living near Chicago, and seeing all the languages and all the cultures that were around me just really intrigued me, and I always, just wanted to learn more about them, and I carried that interest in my later life.
Awesome. And you have a favorite language?
Yeah, Quechua.
Tell me about that. Where is that spoken?
It's an indigenous language in South America, and it's actually it's the most spoken indigenous language that even the police in some of the countries that it's spoken can speak Quechua.
Wow, awesome. Well, good interest. That's it's great to have that focus. Do you want to go into a career there doing that too?
Yeah, I was thinking about maybe like majoring or minoring in it in college.
I struggle with English, so that might be difficult. Nice job, and congratulations on being here. Ava is a senior at Lowell, and you're going to go to IU Bloomington next year to study nonprofit management. Very specific. What got you into that?
Right. I have always been very fascinated in helping others generically. But I work on a farm, and I'm really close to the owners, and their daughter actually runs a nonprofit down in Indianapolis.
Awesome. Well, good. Well, good luck on that coming up next year, and congratulations on being here. Good luck the rest of the game. Max is a senior at Lowell, and you're going to be at Purdue West Lafayette next year, correct? Mm-hmm. Studying computer science?
Yep.
What got you into that?
I don't know. When I was in freshman, sophomore year, I discovered a website that was teaching people how to build websites, so web development.
Sure.
And that kind of got me interested, and then I used that as a jumping off point to get interested in AI and coding in general.
Good luck with all of that.
Thank
We're going
you.
to need it moving into the future. Rocco, a junior at Lowell. You were born left-handed, and now you're right-handed.
Yeah, when I was younger, I broke my left wrist twice in a rather short amount of time. So I had to learn how to do most stuff like throw or write and eat right-handed.
Wow. And then you just adopted it.
Indeed.
That's great. Well, good. Glad you're here. Welcome back again to those that have played the game before. And good luck the rest of the way. Lowell is coached by Joe Giannotti. As we head over to the Westville side. And Mason, a freshman at Westville, correct? Yes. And your favorite book, Band of Brothers. Tell me about that. What brings you to that book?
Well, I started watching the show with my dad a couple months ago, and I asked him if he had the book because I knew it was based off a book, and so I read it, and I really liked it.
Good. Well, good. Stick with the hobby for sure. Jacob, a freshman from Westville. You can solve a Rubik's Cube in 1 minute.
A little bit under a minute, actually.
I've been working on one since the 80s. 1 minute. Pretty good.
Yeah.
What's your dead best record time?
It was about 20 seconds. There was a little bit of an issue with the timer, but...
There was an issue with the timer. 20 seconds is pretty good. Jacob, that's awesome. Congrats on being here. Good luck the rest of the game. Christopher, a junior at Westville. You're a drummer.
Yep.
And you like Led Zeppelin.
Oh,
Now the natural question is, you love John Bonham, right?
Oh, yeah.
And is he the best drummer from the era?
Well, there's arguments to be made for everyone.
All right. Good. What got you into Led Zeppelin?
My dad.
Yeah.
Moved on, started with the Beatles and just moved on to Led Zeppelin and other bands like it.
Awesome. Great music. Christopher, glad you're here. Jaron, playing basketball, volleyball, cross country, track.
Yep.
You do it all.
Yeah.
What's your
I try to
favorite
do
of all
every
those?
sport? It's basketball, but sometimes, usually whatever season it is my favorite sport.
Awesome. Well, good luck to everybody here. Good luck the rest of the game. Westville is coached by Samantha Joel. All right, moving on in the game to our next round that we call Pop Quiz. This is a one-on-one competition. So, same 5 points awarded for each correct answer, but it'll be Rocco versus Jaron, Christopher and Max, Eva, Jacob, Mason, and Lauren. Jaron, it's Jaron. See, I told you. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. I told him before the show, if I say your name wrong, tell me. Look, give me a glare. Say, that's not it, dude. Absolutely. All right. Hey, ready to go. Okay, so Rocco, Jaron, 5 points. Here we go for you guys. Just you guys. No conferring with our teammates here. Name the semicircular geometry tool starting with P that is used to draw angles up to 180 degrees. Rocco from Lowell.
Pi.
I'm sorry?
Pi.
Incorrect. Jaron? Protractor. Christopher and Max, this one's for you. Often drawn as a circle or oval, give the two-word term for the explanation of how igneous, metamorphic, and sedimentary substances change from one type to another over time. Drawn as a circle. The rock cycle. It's the pop quiz, the one that nobody likes. Eva and Jacob, for you. It doesn't have a flag, but does have a long straight stem that may point up or down. Identify this type of musical note, held for 2 counts in 6/8 time and for 1 count in 4/4 time. Jacob from Westville.
Quarter?
Quarter note, yes, 5 points for Westville. You guys are back on the board. Mason and Lauren, this one is for you. This body of water contains both the Greater and Lesser Antilles. Name this body of water southeast of the Gulf of Mexico that also borders Venezuela and Puerto Rico. Lauren from Lowell.
The Atlantic Ocean.
It is not the Atlantic. Mason? The Caribbean Sea. Caribbean Sea. Jaron and Rocco, this one is for you. We go back to the front here. Her first appearance was in the first story of Henry Huggins. Give the first name of this Beverly Cleary character, who has an older sister named Beezus Quimby. Jaron.
Ramona.
Ramona is correct. 5 points more for Westville, and you trail by 5. Max and Christopher, he developed the Bible now named for him, which was created with columns. Christopher from Westville.
King James?
It's not King James. I'll finish it for Max, which was created with columns that contained 42 lines each. Name this medieval German inventor of movable type and the printing press. Go ahead, Max.
Gutenberg.
Yes, Johannes Gutenberg. 5 points for Lowell. And that does it for 2 rounds of play. We're halfway through, and Lowell with a 10-point lead, but there's points aplenty coming up here in our next 2 rounds. Specifically here in the third, we call this one Class Project. This is group work if you'd like. I will give you 3 clues that all point toward one answer. If you can answer it correctly after the first clue, it's worth 30 points. It's the hardest one to get. After 2 clues, it's worth 20. After 3 clues, it's worth 10. You can guess at all 3 levels. There's no penalty there. All right? We're clear on that? Here we go. Social studies is the category. 30 points if you get it after this first clue. Everybody can buzz back in now. His grave at Arlington National Cemetery is now lit with an eternal flame.
JFK.
Mason from Westville.
JFK.
JFK, John F. Kennedy is correct. 30 points for Westville, and a big jump right there. They are up to 55 now, and of course, yeah, give me a chance to call on you, and then, I mean, hey, I get it. I got it. 30, yes, I'm gonna get it. No, it's good. Good. All right, well done, Westville. You are leading by 20. Here's another set of clues, one answer. Here's your 30-point clue. Everybody's back in. Its major types include planetary, H2 regions, and dark. Mason from Westville.
Matter.
It is not matter. Lowell? Anybody can take a shot here. I heard a buzzer. Somebody had a thought. Maybe it was matter. All right, here comes your 20-point clue. Same answer. Typically made of plasma and of gases and dust. Christopher from Westville.
Solar radiation?
It is not solar radiation. I will finish it for Lowell. Typically made of plasma and of gases and dust from the interstellar medium that clump together because of gravity. Rocco from Lowell.
A comet.
It is not a comet. Its name comes from the Latin for cloud. No, can't buzz in there. I just wanted to finish it for everybody before we got to our 10-point clue. This astronomical object's major examples include the Omega, the Orion, and the Crab. Lauren from Lowell.
Oh, galaxy.
It is not galaxy. Westville. Jacob. Constellation. Not constellation. We were looking for nebula. Nebula. A lot of groans. Oh, I knew it. That's all right. No worries there. More points coming your way. 3 clues, 1 answer. Here's your 30. It's literature and language arts this time around. As a verb, it means to thwart someone's evil plan. Lauren from Lowell.
To foil.
Foil is correct for 30 points, and Lowell jumping right back over the top of Westville, 65 to 55, as we have reached the end of 3 rounds of play, and it's a tight one here in our round of 16 match. Lots of points coming your way in our final round, and it's exciting down to the end here. We call it Final Exam. You will look at the board and see 6 categories over there, and each contains 5 questions worth 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30 points respectively. We'll have to answer them in that order though, can't jump around too much. The team that last answered correctly controls the board, except for this first turn, which we give to Westville. So Westville, you can choose a category, and whoever has control can choose a different category. We just progress point-wise. Can't jump to the big ones yet. Westville, you trail, your board. Where would you like to start with a 10-point clue?
We'll start with European history.
European history. A 10-point clue. This widow Capet, who had been the wife of King Louis XVI, is wrongly credited with telling French peasants, Rocco from Lowell.
Marie Antoinette.
That is correct. Told them let them eat cake. Wrongly credited. 10 points for Lowell. You lead by 20 and you control. You can stay or go elsewhere.
We're going to stay.
European history, 15. Her children, George and Charlotte, are 3rd and 4th in line to the throne of England, behind her father-in-law, Prince Charles, and her husband, Prince Christopher from Westville.
Queen Elizabeth?
Incorrect. I'll finish it for Lowell. Behind her father-in-law, Prince Charles, and her husband, Prince William. Lauren.
Queen Elizabeth III.
It is not. We were looking for Kate Middleton. She's the Duchess of Cambridge. All right, I believe Lowell, you control the board. Yes, that sound right? All right, it's yours. What would you like to do?
We'll stick with European history.
European history, 20 points here. This capital city's ancient golden age featured its government leader, Pericles, its playwright, Sophocles, and its philosopher, Plato. Christopher from Westville.
Athens?
Athens, Greece is correct. Westville with the 20 points, and you control the board. What would you like to do?
Oh, we'll stick with European history.
European history, it's a tight one. We're tied. 25 in that category. On Christmas Day 1991, he voluntarily resigned as the final leader of the old Soviet Union. Rocco from Lowell.
Mikhail Gorbachev.
That is correct. Gorbachev, 25 points for Lowell. You jump into the lead, and it's your board.
We'll stay.
30 points. European history will wipe out the category. In 2016, this country celebrated its 1050th anniversary of its conversion to Christianity by the baptism of its first ruler, Mishko I. Christopher from Westville.
What is Russia?
It is not Russia. Lowell? Rocco, you were in just in time.
Bulgaria.
Not Bulgaria, looking for Poland. Poland. All right. Lowell, you're aboard here? Is that right? You had the Gorbachev response, I believe, the last one. So what would you like to do?
Sounds correct. We will go with arithmetic.
Arithmetic it is. 10-point clue in that category. The next number in the sequence, you may want to write it down. 157, 153, 145, 137, 127. Jacob from Westville.
115.
115 is correct. That's right. Sequence -4, -6, -8, -10, -12. 10 points for Westville. You control the board, and you're way better at math than I am.
We'll stick with arithmetic.
Arithmetic it is, 15. The least common denominator needed to add 3/8 and 5/12. Jacob from Westville.
24.
24. You like math. That's correct. 15 for Westville. You're bored. We're tied.
We'll stick with arithmetic.
20 points for arithmetic. You ready, Jacob? Here we go. Express as a binary number the result of 17 minus 8. Couple seconds. Anybody? Yes, you got it, Max. Go ahead.
000110.
That is incorrect, and we are out of time there on the clue. 1001, 9 in base 2. I mean, I knew the answer because it was right here, but Westville.
We'll stick with arithmetic.
Arithmetic, 25. Hopefully not binary again, goodness. The number of men in a Pilates class if the ratio of men to women is 2 to 9, and the class has 33 total students. Jacob from Westville.
Oh shoot, I messed that up. Wait, 6?
6 is correct. 6 men looking for a date at the Pilates class. That's right, Jacob. 25 more for Westville, and it's your board.
We'll finish off with
30 in arithmetic. Number of possible combinations of 2 objects from a group of 5. Jacob from Westville.
20?
It is not 20. Lowell? 10. It was 10. 2 objects from a group of 5. Westville, sorry, we gotta go somewhere else.
Let's go, is that Constitution?
It is Constitution, the U.S. Constitution specifically. 10 points there. This job's holder is allowed by the 25th Amendment to become president if the president dies. Christopher from Westville.
Vice President?
Vice President of the United States. 10 points for Westville. You control the board and you lead by 35.
We'll stick with Constitution.
Constitution, 15 in that same category. This amendment secures the right of people to keep and bear arms. Rocco from Lowell. Second Amendment, that's been in the news a little bit recently. Rocco, 15 for Lowell, and to your board, you trail by 20.
We will stick with Constitution.
Constitution, 20 points there. This fraction of states must approve a constitutional amendment. Christopher from Westville.
2/3?
It is not 2/3. I'll finish it for Lowell. Must approve a constitutional amendment before it is officially added. Lauren.
3/4.
3/4 is correct. 20 points for Lowell. And we're tied. Look at that. Back and forth we go. Lowell, what would you like to do?
Stick with Constitution.
Constitution, 25 points. The Supreme Court has ruled that prohibiting same-sex marriage violates both the due process and equal protection clauses of this amendment. Christopher from Westville.
The First Amendment?
It is not the first. Lowell? Rocco?
The 15th Amendment?
Not the 15th. Looking for the 14th Amendment. You had to read a little higher on the Constitution. It's all right. Lowell, your board. We're tied.
We'll stick with Constitution.
30-pointer there. This will separate us. This amendment says the 18th Amendment to the Constitution is hereby repealed. Christopher from Westville.
The 20th?
It is not the 20th. Eva.
The 21st.
21st is correct. 30 points for Lowell. You jump into the lead by that much, and it's yours.
We'll do starts with C.
Starts with C, a 10-point clue there. The Japanese Emperor Meiji fought the first of 2 Sino-Japanese wars against this country. Rocco from Lowell.
China.
China starts with C, 10 points for Lowell. What would you like to do? 2 minutes to go in the game.
World Lit.
World literature, 10 points there. This Canadian author's novel, The Handmaid's Tale, tells of a dystopian. Eva from Lowell.
Margaret Atwood.
Margaret Atwood, a dystopian future. Yes, 10 points for Lowell. What would you like to do?
Stick with World Lit.
World literature, 15. This girl, created by Swedish author Astrid Lindgren, is famed for her red hair and great strength. Christopher from Westville.
Pippi Longstocking?
That's correct. Pippi Longstocking, 15 for Westville. What would you like to do?
We'll stick with World Lit.
World Lit, 20. This Russian author who spent time in Stalin's Gulag wrote. Christopher from Westville.
Leo Tolstoy?
It is not Tolstoy. I'll finish it for Lowell. Spent time in Stalin's Gulag, wrote The Gulag Archipelago about his experience. Max.
Dostoevsky.
It is not. Looking for Alexander Solzhenitsyn. Westville.
World Lit.
World Lit, 25. This Frenchman wrote the plays Tartuffe and The Misanthrope. Max from Lowell.
Moliere.
That is correct. Moliere, 25 for for Lowell. And your board.
We'll stick with World Lit.
In under a minute to go in the game, world literature, 30 points. This German author wrote Steppenwolf and the Glass Bead Game. Hermann Hesse. Lowell, new category.
Starts with C.
Starts with C, 15. When writing music down, this 5-letter abbreviation means the music should get louder. Eva from Lowell.
Forte.
It is not forte. Westville. Mason.
CRESC.
Yes, short for crescendo, 15 for Westville. What would you like to do?
We'll stick with starts with C.
Starts with C, 20-pointer. In this large open area within an airport, passengers await their flights.
Concourse.
John.
The concourse.
Jaron. It's concourse, that's right. 20 points. I'm going to get it right one of these times. Westville, go ahead quickly.
Starts with C.
Starts with C, 25 there. Finish this saying from 19th century American philosopher Ralph Waldo Emerson. Foolish blank is the hobgoblin of small minds. Mason.
Curiosity.
It is not curiosity. Lowell. Rocco.
Foolish invention.
Incorrect. Consistency. Consistency. And that is the end of our game by a score of 210 to 185. Lowell will advance to our quarterfinal game to play Valparaiso. But a great tight game played by both teams, probably one of the best I've seen here. So wonderful job. Congratulations to both teams on a great one. And we will see you next time on Making the Grade.
From safer communities to admirable performances, we power Northern Indiana, so you can do what moves you.